In the heart of the teachings of Zen and Buddhism lies a profound truth: your journey is yours alone. These words, simple yet powerful, speak of a reality that many struggle to accept. Life's intricate web often tricks us into believing that others are deeply invested in our struggles, ambitions, and emotions. Yet, in truth, most people are preoccupied with their own lives, their own fears, and their own dreams. This is not a reflection of malice, but a natural aspect of existence. Zen masters teach, a tree does not grow worrying about the shadow it casts on others. It simply grows towards the sun. To thrive, we must focus on ourselves, untethered by the illusion that the world watches or judges our every step. Let us now delve into a story, a tale that illustrates this profound teaching, exploring the struggles, realizations, and liberation of focusing on oneself, the burden of seeking validation. Once, a young seeker felt a deep dissatisfaction with life. Everywhere he turned, he sought validation. His actions, words, and even his thoughts were shaped by the fear of others' opinions. He spent endless hours crafting an image that would make him likable, admirable, and respected. One day, he approached a wise monk known for his profound insights. "Master," the seeker began, "I feel unseen and unappreciated despite all my efforts. Why does the world ignore me?" The monk listened patiently and said, "Come with me to the river." At the riverbank, the monk handed the seeker a large clay pot and said, "Fill this pot with water and carry it to the top of the mountain." The seeker, though puzzled, complied. As he climbed, the weight of the pot increased, and the water spilled with every step. By the time he reached the summit, the pot was nearly empty. "Look inside," said the monk. The seeker peered into the pot, seeing only a few drops of water. Exhausted, he exclaimed, "Master, I carried this pot carefully, yet it is almost empty." The monk smiled. "This pot is your life when you live for others' approval. No matter how carefully you walk, your energy spills. By the time you reach your destination, you are empty, drained, and unfulfilled. Now, climb the mountain again, but this time, carry nothing, the liberation of self-focus." On his second ascent, the seeker noticed a profound difference. Without the pot, his steps were lighter, and his breath was steadier. He reached the summit not only more quickly but also with energy to spare. When he met the monk, the seeker asked, "What does this mean for my life?" The monk replied, "When you focus on yourself, your energy is preserved. You ascend life's challenges with clarity and purpose. This is not selfishness but wisdom. The world is too busy with its own burdens to carry yours. Your happiness, your growth, and your peace are your responsibilities." The illusion of attention, the seeker then asked, "But Master, do people not care for each other?" The monk took a handful of sand and let it slip through his fingers. Each grain represents a thought. People are like this sand, they are filled with countless thoughts, most of which revolve around themselves. Even when they appear to care for you, it is often through the lens of their own needs and desires. Understand this: people may walk alongside you, but they cannot walk for you. The seeker reflected on this and realized how much time he had wasted worrying about others' opinions. He had denied himself the joy of living authentically, imprisoned by the fear of judgment. The garden within. The monk continued, "Imagine your mind as a garden. If you spend all your time tending to others' gardens, weeds will overrun your own. Focus on planting seeds of wisdom, peace, and joy within yourself. When your garden blooms, it will inspire others, not because you seek their admiration, but because beauty naturally attracts. To illustrate this, the monk asked the seeker to meditate beside a lotus pond. As the seeker observed, he noticed how the flowers bloomed effortlessly, untouched by the murky water below. The monk said, "The lotus does not bloom to impress the fish or the birds. It blooms because that is its nature. Be like the lotus, rooted in your essence." Rising above the opinions of others, the power of detachment. Over time, the seeker began practicing detachment. He stopped seeking approval and started living in alignment with his values. At first, this shift was challenging. He faced criticism, misunderstandings, and even rejection. But with each passing day, he felt lighter, freer, and more content. The monk reminded him of an ancient teaching: a bird perched on a branch is not afraid of the branch breaking because its trust is not in the branch but in its wings. Similarly, the seeker learned to place his trust in himself, not in the fragile opinions of others, the ripple effect of self-focus. As the seeker grew more self-assured, he noticed an unexpected phenomenon. By focusing on himself, he became more present, compassionate, and grounded. This authenticity inspired those around him. People began seeking his guidance, not because he sought their attention but because his inner peace was magnetic. The monk explained, "When you light your own lamp, it illuminates not only your path but also the paths of those nearby. But if you wait for others to light your lamp, you will remain in darkness." The monk shared a parable to reinforce the teaching. A man was struck by an arrow. Instead of removing it, he began asking questions. Who shot this arrow? What kind of wood is it made of? Why was I targeted? He wasted so much time seeking external answers that he bled to death. The wise remove the arrow without delay, focusing on their healing rather than external distractions. Similarly, focus on your growth instead of the reasons others may or may not care. The culmination, living for yourself. Years later, the seeker, now a master himself, taught others the lesson he had learned: live as though nobody cares, because in truth, they do not. This is not a cause for despair but for liberation. When you stop seeking external validation, you discover the immense strength within. You become the author of your story, unshaken by the winds of opinion. He concluded with a final meditation: reflect on your deepest desires. Are they truly yours, or are they shaped by others' expectations? Focus on actions that bring you inner peace, regardless of whether they attract praise or criticism. Remember that your life is a precious journey, and you alone must walk its path. The seeker, now transformed into a master, taught that focusing on oneself is a continuous journey. It is not something one achieves overnight but a practice that deepens with time. He emphasized 3 key elements to sustaining this practice: mindfulness, self-discipline, and compassion for oneself. Mindfulness, the art of presence. To focus on yourself, the master explained, you must first become aware of where your energy flows. Most people scatter their energy in countless directions, worrying about things beyond their control or seeking approval from those who barely notice them. This leads to exhaustion and dissatisfaction. To cultivate mindfulness, he instructed his students to practice sitting quietly each morning, observing their breath and thoughts without judgment. This practice, simple yet profound, allowed them to identify the areas of their lives where they were needlessly entangled in external concerns. One student approached the master, confessing that he struggled to let go of the opinions of others. The master asked him to carry a cup filled to the brim with water through a bustling marketplace. Do not spill a drop, he instructed. As the student walked, his focus was entirely on the cup. He returned to the master, beaming with pride. I did not spill a single drop, he said. The master asked, Did you notice the people in the marketplace? No, the student replied. I was too focused on the cup. The master smiled. This is the power of mindfulness. When you focus on your own journey, the distractions of the world fade away. Self-discipline, the strength to stay the course. The master also taught that self-focus requires discipline. There will be times, he said, when the voices of the world grow loud, tempting you to stray from your path. In those moments, you must have the strength to remain true to yourself. He shared another teaching. The bamboo does not bend because it fears the wind, it bends because it knows its strength lies in flexibility. The master encouraged his students to create daily routines that nurtured their inner selves, whether through meditation, journaling, or pursuing their passions. These practices became anchors, grounding them amidst life's uncertainties. One student, who struggled with self-doubt, asked the master, How do I remain disciplined when my mind is filled with fear? The master replied, Fear is like a cloud passing through the sky. It is transient and insubstantial. Discipline is the sun behind the cloud, always shining, always present. Focus on the sun, not the cloud. Compassion for oneself, the key to lasting peace. The final piece of the master's teaching was compassion, not for others, but for oneself. Many people, he said, are kind to everyone except themselves. They carry the weight of guilt, regret, and unworthiness, shackling their own potential. He told his students the story of a cracked clay pot that carried water daily from the river to the village. One day, the pot lamented its imperfection to its owner. I am sorry, it said. Because of my crack, water leaks, and I cannot serve you fully. The owner smiled and replied, Do you see the flowers along the path? I planted seeds there, knowing you would water them. Your crack is not a flaw, it is a gift, the master concluded. Your perceived flaws are part of your journey. Embrace them, and they will become your greatest strengths. As the students practiced these teachings, they noticed profound changes in their lives. By focusing on themselves, they became more confident, resilient, and at peace. This inner transformation also had a ripple effect on those around them. One student, who had once been consumed by the need for others' approval, shared her experience. When I stopped seeking validation, she said, I discovered my own worth. People now respect me not because I seek their attention but because I respect myself. The master smiled, saying, This is the paradox of self-focus. When you care less about what others think, you inspire them more. Not because you try to, but because authenticity is magnetic. The ultimate lesson, your life, your responsibility. In his final teaching, the master reminded his students of the ultimate truth. You are the sole architect of your life. No one else can build it for you. The world may offer guidance, criticism, or praise, but none of these define your path. Only you can do that. He left them with a profound meditation. Sit in silence and visualize your life as a flowing river. Notice how it winds through valleys and over rocks, untouched by the whispers of the forest around it. Reflect on the areas where you have allowed external voices to disrupt your flow. Commit to reclaiming your energy, focusing solely on the currents that nourish your soul. The students departed, carrying with them the wisdom that the greatest gift they could offer the world was a life lived authentically, free from the weight of others' expectations. To focus on yourself is not to reject the world but to embrace your role within it. It is to understand that the love, respect, and peace you seek externally can only be found within. As the Zen teaching goes, when the flower blooms, the bees come uninvited, live not for the applause of others but for the harmony within. In doing so, you will not only transform your own life but also inspire others to find their own paths. Focus on yourself, for nobody else can walk your journey. Thanks for